welcome to episode 7 of second season of Reflections of a Slightly Conscious Being. I'm Sandra Lourenco, a music artist that is on a journey towards consciousness. I am not a licensed psychologist, therapist, or coach. All information I share here comes from personal experience and doesn't mean to replace any kind of professional help. Alright guys, so today we are doing something different. We are outside, as you can see, and I'm here with my dogs. Well, Vegeta is there. There she is. I'm here with my dog Vegeta, and here's Delilah. So they will be our sidekicks today for the episode. And today we are going for a walk. Yeah, I'm taking you guys with me on my morning walk through the forest with my dogs. And I always walk barefoot. Yeah, and I do 6 kilometers every day barefoot. It's one of the things that can't miss in my life. So pretty much every day this is one of my morning rituals. And it's not even a choice anymore. It's something that I naturally do. I don't even give my body, my mind, the opportunity to choose. I just go. I just do it. And I think it's one of the secrets behind doing things. You know, you just keep doing it and you don't even give your mind a choice to do it or not. So you don't rely on motivation, right? Motivation is doing something because you want to. On this case, you're not even allowing your motivation or your mind to choose. You just go ahead and do it. All right, there comes Jetta. Always hangs out a little on the background, but she follows. Delilah also likes to go, well, there she goes. She likes to go in the front. So today I also don't have a script, all right? So I'm just taking you guys with me on my morning walk, and I'll just keep talking about whatever comes to mind. So one of the reasons that made me wanted to do this, I've been doing this morning walk for 1.5 years almost now, and I felt it made a huge difference in my mornings. Since I work at home, and so it's hard for me to, you know, if you work at home, it's hard to start in the morning, right? You drink your coffee, but you still feel like something's missing. You still feel a bit disconnected. So one of the things that makes a huge difference is to go outside and have some sunlight on you. Even if it's rainy, even if it's cloudy, the sunlight is still there, and your body, that's what makes your body wake up. That's the best coffee you can have. And so going outside is one of the things that made me a lot more productive. I do feel like doing this walk also, well, it's kind of also adding physical exercise. Even though it's not much about the exercise, I walk really, really slow, and that's one of the things that changed in my life. I used to be a very, very fast walker, but since I started meditating, I started to slow down my pace. I didn't even notice. I didn't make anything for that to happen. I usually do these walks alone, but when I'm with someone, I notice I used to be the fastest walker in the group, and now I'm the slowest. But it's just because I learned to slow my body down. And these walks are not much about the exercise. Of course, there's some exercise involved, but it's not much about the exercise. It's more about connecting with nature and to feel the forest around me. And so the slower I go, the better, more time I have to experience the forest and everything around me. Walking barefoot allows me to add more sensation to it. So the challenge in these walks, or the goal or the purpose, is to get out of my own head, to get out of my own mind, and to focus on my senses and what's going on around me. So walking barefoot allows me to feel the earth, allows me to feel my feet, and I can feel the moist on the ground. I can feel the toughness of the ground. Sometimes I feel spikes, which are not nice, but they are a good wake-up call as well. Ooh! It's all part of the experience. And so it's a way to make my mornings more connected, more energized as well, and more in touch with nature. I do feel sometimes when we spend too much time on human civilization, you start to lose touch. And it doesn't matter where you are, even if you live in a big city. I'm sure you have a small garden near you. Just go there, just sit there for a while, try to focus on the nature sounds. I know it's hard, especially in a big city, but I'm sure you can do it. It's a good exercise. And if you have a hard time with meditation, or if you're just starting out, it's one of the amazing learning techniques or hacking things. Is just starting to focus on your senses. So you give your mind something to focus on, right? And because I know in the beginning, when it's hard not to think of anything, it's hard to release the grip of the mind. But if you allow yourself to focus on your senses, it's just imagine that you're walking through the forest, and imagine that you're an animal. An animal needs to be always focused on his senses. It doesn't matter if he's looking for prey or if he's escaping from predators, right? All animals have prey or predators. So anyway, they always have to be with their ears up, with their eyes sharp. And that's exactly how you should do. You should walk on the forest, notice all the sounds. So I'm hearing the birds, I'm hearing the wind. You can even smell some smells. And one of the great things is that the more you start doing this, the sharper your senses get. So even if at first you can't hear or smell many things, I assure you, after a while you'll start smelling more. You'll start noticing more. Sometimes some animals approach you, and one of the things I usually notice, not on all walks, but on most walks, I have a specific kind of animal approaching me or allowing me to film them or photograph them. And I feel very grateful, to have an animal trusting me. And the trick for the animals to trust you and to approach you is exactly to be on this animal mode, just calm, present, and not anxious, not nervous, not in your own head. So that's pretty much my meditation in the morning, is this walk amongst nature. And this can be also a form of meditation. Meditation is not only about sitting with your legs crossed or humming chants. No, there are many forms of meditation. And the trick for making meditation work for you is just to find what works best for you, what makes sense for you. It's just that. Nobody can tell you that. You have to discover that for yourself. I'm sorry. But, sometimes some pointers and sharing personal experiences, it makes it easier for us, in that sense. One of the things that sometimes, when I'm on these walks, sometimes I also reflect about specific themes. And one of the things that's coming to my mind today is, I mentioned imagine being like an animal. And now think about exactly being an animal, like not having, just having enough food for a few hours if you catch prey, and you don't have a safe place to sleep, right? I mean, you can have a place to sleep, but there can be another animal when you get there, right? So that doesn't mean animals are stressed or anxious or nervous. No, they're comfortable with that. Could you be comfortable with that as a human being, right? I mean, imagine not having your own place, right? Could be taken away from you. Always having to be on the hunt for your food. Not being safe when you're sick, right? like we have all these safeties in the human world. I'm sure not all humans have, right? But if you are watching this video, you have internet access, you have a screen, right? You have sound, well, you have a system with sound and a screen, right? Or just sound, it doesn't matter. But you have internet access, so I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming you have all these guarantees, right? You have enough money, you have food in your house, and even if you don't have a lot of food, you have money in the bank to buy a lot more, right? If you have a house, right? I mean, yeah, you pay a rent, but even if you don't pay the rent, I mean, there are systems that allow you, I mean, you won't go to the street if you don't have money to pay the rent, right? There are support systems. So we live in a society where we have all these basic needs granted, pretty much, right? I know that's not true for everyone. I'm assuming it's true for you. And still, we feel anxious. We are the animal who feels most anxious. We are the animal who feels more stressed. We are the animal who is just constantly looking over their shoulder, and sometimes seeing the worst intentions on the others of our kind, right? And why is that, right? Why is that? I'm not saying that animals are better than people, all right? I'm just saying animals are on a different conscious level, all right? I think I've read some books that from other authors that also agree with this perspective, that this is all constructs, all this anxiety, this stress, this looking over your shoulder and seeing the worst in people. These are all constructs of the human mind, okay? And humans are different from other animals in the sense that they have a thinking mind, right? They have a logical and rational mind. That's what makes us different from other animals. We have this other sense that animals do not. But it's not always helpful, all right? In this case, when we stress, when we worry, the human mind, it comes from a good place, right? It comes from a place that human mind wants the best for us, wants us to feel safe. And so it comes from a place, okay, let me gather as much money as I can so I can be as secure as I can, right? It's not only about money, it's also about worrying about your loved ones, wanting them near you, and all of that, right? So it comes from a good place, but is it helpful? Is it helpful if we are constantly worried? I have a good grip of my conscious mind when I'm awake, but I still, sometimes on some nights when I'm between that phase, that stage between being asleep or being awake, when I'm on that stage, I usually have these worries that pop out in my mind that are usually related with some things that are going on with my life at whatever point. Right now I have some worries. If it was a couple of years ago, I would have a different worries. But it's always this pattern of waking up in the middle of the night, not waking up, but when I'm not sleeping, when I'm on that light sleep or almost sleeping, I get these worries, and sometimes they almost seem real. So truth is, our minds make it real, right?
I thought it wasn't real. Your mind makes it real.
So, is that helpful? I mean, yeah, it's a good reminder that I have some things to take care of in my life and that I should be aware of some challenges. But it's not helpful. I'm trying to sleep. And so getting sleep on that point would be more helpful to me than worrying about things. And some of the things that I'm worrying about are not even under my control. So this is all constructs of the human mind. And the human mind, yes, it can be a great advantage, and it is, but it can also be our worst enemy, right? And so why am I mentioning animals? And because, yeah, human mind is what makes us different, but it's not only that. All right, the human mind, and I've heard another author mentioning this, and I thought it was amazing. The human mind is just the next step in evolution. All right, we are evolving, and as human beings are evolving, more of us are seeing that most of these illusions of the human mind, these constructs, this constantly need to be thinking about everything and nothing at once, is disconnecting us. And this is also what's behind this need for security, this need for more, that is killing our forests. Because it's never enough, right? It's never enough. And so we are consuming more than we need. There are people in the world that are so rich, that have so much money, that they could feed the entire world and still be rich. So it's just, it's it's out of our minds, right? It doesn't make any sense, but this happens, and this is the society we live in. So it's important for us to see that what brought us here was the insanity and the madness of the human mind. And again, like I'm saying, is also the brilliance, it's also the abilities of the human mind that allows us to see this as well. So the human mind can, if used right, can be used as a tool to actually make us aware that this is happening, that this madness is happening in the world. And so the challenge is to know how to use the human mind without being used by it, because I do feel that's what the problems, where the problems begin, is when we start seeing everything that our minds tell us as truth, as absolute truths, right? These people that have all these riches are used to a lifestyle that it would be totally unthinkable for most of us, but they take that as normal. For example, flying a jet here and there, they think that's normal, and they are not even considering how much pollution they are doing every time they take a jet someplace, right? If every one of us would live in the same way, our planet would be totally unlivable in no time, right? So, but these people, probably they don't even think about it. And that's the thing, because they are so in their minds, they are so used to that lifestyle. They don't even have a notion how, well, normal us live. And when I say normal, I say average, I say us, and I live in a European society. And I know, again, my standards are different than other societies. It's just the same. We are just so used to our own lifestyle that we don't even allow ourselves to think about how other people live, because it's so inconceivable, right? But someone in Africa would look at me and consider me rich, abnormal, right? And some things that I take for granted, like having water coming out of a faucet, maybe it's unthinkable for them, and they see that, oh my gosh, you don't know what you have. So it's important to keep perspective, right? And I also think it's important, I'm not saying that we should all go back to the forest, we should all stop paying our electricity bills and so on and become self-sustainable, but I'm saying that maybe we should start thinking about it. I'm thinking maybe it's time, and I see so many people gathering riches for their kids, and especially here in Portugal, I see many well, baby boomers, that's the generation of my parents and my friends' parents. And I see so many of them accumulating wealth for their kids. Like, oh, I want to leave a good inheritance. So when I'm not here, my child, well, they're not children anymore, but my son or my daughter will have, will be comfortable. And then I see these people not taking care of the environment. And, I don't know, doing small things. There are so many things you can do, right? But, you know, be more careful with the water you consume, how much water you consume. Be more careful about not leaving your lights on. Do your best to recycle. Do your best to don't consume products that come in plastic packages, and so on. And I don't know, go collect garbage on the beach or something. And wouldn't that be a better heritage for all of us, for our descendants? And so I do see it like that. I do see it when you approach a healthier lifestyle. If you teach your kids this, especially if you have children, you know, if you teach your kids this, to be respectable of their environment, teach them how to be grateful for what they have, teach them to consume less, and show them that, you know, real happiness doesn't come from new toys. You can say, oh, but they get so happy when they get a toy. Yeah, but it goes away quickly, right? Teach them to do toys out of sticks. I used to do that when I was a kid. It was awesome. You know, my dad taught me how to build a bow out of I think it was an ash tree. I think, wow, it was willows. Yeah, they use willow to make the ark. So go teach your kid to do something like that, or do something together. Search online. If you don't know how to do it, if nobody ever taught you, go online, teach yourself to do it. Sustainable toys. Take your kid to nature, teach him to do, him or her, of course, to do these kind of things. And, you know, I think these are the things you should be worried about. You know, consuming less and being content, being happy with a lifestyle that is sustainable, not only for our generations, but also the future ones. Yeah, one of the things that I think about is that no amount of wealth or money will be able to buy our planet back, you know, and to build and to come into these forests and breathing fresh air. No amount of money can buy that, and it's free. And it's free. That's the best part. But we don't know for how many years we will still have this, you know. So I do feel it's important to more and more to think about this. Not only think, but also start actively doing something about this in our lives. And I think I'm being inspired by the forest. I wasn't thinking about talking about healthy lifestyles and more environmentally friendly lifestyles, but it's also one of the changes that I've done in my life over this past year. I was always very concerned with the environment, and even though my parents, they are baby boomers, but they always taught me that. To value my own environment and to be careful with my planet. So it's something that was always with me, but over the past years I've done an effort to change many things in my life, to consume a lot less plastic, which was a challenge because unfortunately on the supermarkets you can't find products that are not like that. When I started looking for solid shampoo, it was one of the changes I did. I started using bottle shampoos because they always come in plastic bottles, and I stopped using it and I started using solid shampoos. And when I started using it, they weren't even anywhere in the supermarkets. And now they are, but you can't find the conditioner. And I have really dry hair, so I really need a conditioner. And so I would have to order online. Now I finally found one, but it's amazing because you see so many varieties of plastic bottle shampoos in the supermarket, and then there's one or two solid conditioners amidst, I don't know, dozens or even hundreds of other kinds of shampoos. So you get really limited. But, you know, it's a small thing, but it's the beginning of the change, right? And the more people, the more of us we do these changes. I'm talking about solid shampoos, but I also changed, I don't know, menstrual pads, for example. I always used discardable ones, and then I decided to try the ones that you wash, and it was the most amazing surprise of my life. I would never think they were so good. They are so much better than these discardable ones. They are so much cheaper, and oh my gosh, they work so much better. I'm never going back. And you know, if I'm traveling and yeah, I can't wash the other ones, so I have to take the disposable ones with me. And I haven't used them for a while, so when I use them, oh my gosh, they were so uncomfortable compared to the cotton ones I use. So these are just small changes that you can do. Even, you know, microplastics in your washing machine, in the detergents in your washing machine. There are so many options nowadays. Unfortunately, they are still not in the big supermarkets. You have to go to online to stores or natural stores, but don't even think they are more expensive, because some of them are actually cheaper. And that was also another surprise, because we have this notion that all these environmentally friendly options are more expensive. Not all of them. There are some of them that are actually cheaper, and they last longer than the others. And when you try it, you really don't want to go back. So, you know, I used to love the smell of detergent in my clothes, but now I get used of not having any of those smells. So when I smell it on other people, and those really, really strong smells that I didn't even have a notion how strong they were, once I stopped using them, they became so aggressive when I smell them on other people. So it's like your noses, your senses also get adapted. All right. Another change you can also do, and that I did, was start reducing what I buy on the supermarkets and buy more and more to local products, to local producers. Things can be sometimes a bit more expensive, for sure, yes, but in the long term they actually turn out to be cheaper. Why? Because they have a lot more shelf life. If you buy onions or potatoes on the supermarket, they will rotten very, very, very soon. They won't last a lot. But if you buy them on small producers, they will never rot. They will be with you for a long time. And so they get cheaper because you don't waste as much. You can use them for a long time you can have them at home without them rotting down. So you're helping someone out. You're helping small producers, and you're getting better quality vegetables that last a lot longer than the ones you buy in the supermarket. So in the long run, they are cheaper, and sometimes they are actually cheaper than in the supermarket. I started going to these local monthly markets, you know, food markets and vegetable markets here in Portugal, and things can be a lot cheaper than they are in the supermarket. And again, they last a lot longer. And it's amazing the once you get used to those. If you, for any reason, have to buy on the supermarket, you notice the difference in the taste right away. You know what else is amazing is that I had absolutely no idea what I was going to talk about today. And then I think I was inspired by the forest, and I was inspired by nature to talk about this subject that is so dear to me, and that I've done is something that changed so much in my life recently. Well, recently in the last year or so. And I do feel it also was motivated to live in nature. I do feel when you are closer to nature, and in my case, I used to live in a city, and now I'm living really close to a city, but I'm living in the countryside. And I do feel being closer to nature also reminds us to protect it and to think about it as something very, very special that we have and we cannot take for granted. All right, and this is all I have for you guys today. So today we've talked about, many things that are important to me. The environment, the madness of the human mind. All right, so I think we have a good episode today. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you have, as always, if you have suggestions for future episodes, feel free to send me an email. I'm at mail@sandralourenco.pt. Feel free to comment, share, like, subscribe. And if you want to support the show, you can get a monthly subscription on Patreon or buy me a coffee, and I'll soon have advantages for you guys there, okay? So see you there. Stay safe. See you later.